Welcome. Today we have a really special guest. His name is Charles. He's a member of the Inner Circle, and he just got back from one of our masterminds, and he was a really helpful, good contributor member at the mastermind. So we wanted to bring him on today's show to not just show you what he's done right, but talk about maybe some of the hurdles he had in a way that'll help you guys. So let's get started, Charles. Welcome.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
So, Charles, the reason why I wanted you to have on the show today is because at the mastermind that we just did, the live one we did in Los Angeles, you were a really helpful contributor to the group, and the results you've had just starting out have been amazing. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so we've started or joined the group back in April of 2017. And if you know our personalities, we like to jump all in when it comes to new opportunities that might come up where we can envision some success and have steps laid out on how we're going to succeed in any venture. It took us about 4 months, maybe a little under 4 months, to launch our first product. And probably just less than 30 days after that, a second product. And I'd say less than 5 months in, so from launch date to today, we've had revenues reach just slightly above $202,000. And we're pretty excited about where we're headed. Excited about, of course, the beginning of 2018. We've got some goals, some pretty lofty goals of where we want to be from August 2017 to August 2018. We're on pace to do somewhere around $700,000 in revenues with approximately 4 different products.
Wow. So in 5 months, less than 5 months of selling on Amazon, you've done $202,000?
Correct.
Wow. So is that $40,000 a month, or did you start a little lower and then work your way up, or has it averaged about $40,000 a month?
I would say definitely scaled up. The first month we probably did right around that $20,000 to $25,000 mark, and then month 2 probably somewhere in that 25 to 30. Month 3 was probably somewhere in that 30 to 40 range, because that was really the beginning of fourth quarter. Which happened just after Thanksgiving with Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So that certainly helped us spike a little bit. And then that 4th and 5th month, I'd say we still saw an increase, throughout the month of December and even the first week of January with all the gift card exchanges and such on Amazon.
Yeah, that's really impressive.
And how many products do you have out right now?
To date, we have 3 currently active listings. 2 of those are, variations of each other. And the third product is a lesser expensive item that we probably won't continue to replenish. One of those things where, you've got a winning horse, you keep feeding the winner and let go of the one that's it's still, makes decent margin, but we really want to focus on the primary product and variation of it. So
yeah, and I love hearing that, because so you've launched 3, and so is it 1 or 2 that's doing extremely well, or is it both that are doing extremely well and then the one is just doing okay?
Yeah, so our first one is doing very well. Our second one, the variation of the first product, was just launched, new listing. We're just ramping up on sponsored ads and just trying to get it to the level of that first one. And the third product is, we've got about 500 units remaining and inventory for it. But like I said, we probably won't replenish that third product. We'll just focus on the first two, and then we've got a couple of others in the works as well.
So, and a question that I always like to know, if you've done 202,000 in sales, is that about 40,000 a month, or did it gradually increase, or have you been pretty steady at about 40,000 a month?
I would say probably our first month was roughly 20 to 25. Our second month was roughly 30 to 35. And then with the last few months, kind of happened to land in that fourth quarter period. So that worked out really well for us. I'd say fourth quarter really kind of started with November, Black Friday sales just after Thanksgiving. So I'd say from the end of November through probably really the first week or so of January, there was a bit of a spike. But still, yet the first couple of months was pretty solid, roughly 25 to 35,000 per month.
Yeah, that's good. So then you've been building momentum on it.
Yes, sir.
Now, we never like to ask what the product is. What is the category that you're selling?
We are in the baby category.
Okay. Yeah. So baby accessories, we'll say, of some kind.
I mean, geared towards baby items, but more to serve the parents as opposed to the baby. Although I guess in a roundabout way, it does serve the baby as well.
Yeah, pretty much everything serves the babies, right? That's the design of life. Yeah, because we don't want to discuss your exact product because then it's not fair for people to piggyback it. But it's good that you share the category because everybody's in all kinds of categories. It doesn't matter really what you sell. It depends on the three criteria, right? Does it already sell well? Can I compete? Are the margins there?
Absolutely.
Can you tell us about the process of you selecting that product?
Sure. So like I mentioned, what was supposed to be our first product, we tried to answer all of those questions, selling well, depth, margin, all of those things, which we did. However, what we found is as it was being manufactured, that first product, it was suggested to us by one of the mentors in the group that we maybe consider launching 2 products at the same time, not necessarily on the same day, but, within a month or 2 of each other. So we were really excited about getting into the group and getting started. And if you know my personality, I don't like to have to do anything. I want to jump all in. And so we were able to pull some other reserves together to fund a second product. And really, I would have to say that the second product was more of my wife's thought, in that she owns and operates an in-home daycare. And I came home from work one day and she said, "What do you think about this product?" And I said, "Well, does it meet all the criteria?"
Right.
And she said, "Well, I think it does. And the margin, looks good." I said, "Well, why don't you go ahead and, reach out to a few suppliers and see what price we would be able to negotiate for that product, that second product." And she did that. I reached out to our other sourcing agent, had conversations with them. And long story short, like I said, it ended up being not only something that we do or we're very well connected to in terms of the category and what she does in her 9-to-5 role, but it also ended up working out to be our most successful product, something that we could really get behind, have our parents actually test out, for us. They were able to help us really kind of drill down on some of the features that we could provide, without giving the product away. There are just some things that you can do with this product that would allow it to be more functional. And so we were able to, of course, ask some of our parents to test it out and give some feedback. And really what it created was more momentum for enhancing the product that we had began with. So we've already made some changes, added a color variation. We've got another product that's in the design phase currently, and so it's been pretty cool. I never would have dreamed that we would ever call ourselves manufacturers, but in essence, that's what we are.
Yeah, and I love what you said, because one of the things that we talk about a lot is adding your own spin to a product. And whether that's logos, packaging, looking at existing bad reviews on existing products and seeing how you're going to fix that. So that was pretty smart. And with your wife having the daycare as her 9 to 5, that's really cool that you were able to actually benefit the business with this product. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. What so far has been any struggles? Is there, because you've done tremendously well. I mean, $200,000 in less than 5 months. That's amazing. But there had to be some struggles and some hiccups, maybe some roadblocks along the way.
Sure. With any business, there is and will be. One of the things that you all teach and just bearing down, and you don't mislead any of us to think that it's going to be easy. Many of us have 9 to 5 jobs that we work in, and even when you're working for someone else, issues come up. They're just not your own. So it's really given us an opportunity to have to work better together, communicate better together. But specifically, probably one of the biggest things in retrospect that I would mention is we were so excited to begin the process and jump in and launch product 1 and launch product 2 and start a variation for product 2 and look at adding some other design types for this particular product, that we kind of failed to keep in mind the cash flow end of the equation. And so typically how it works when you're sourcing is you pay a 30% deposit or 50% deposit to get your product started. And then once it's complete, you pay the remaining balance to the supplier and they ship your product. When you're paying that, 30%, let's just say, sometimes you lose track of, okay, I've paid 30% for one item and 30% for a second item and 30% for a third item. And we kind of lost track of, we've got now 70% of the first item, 70% of the second item, and 70% of the third item coming due. So that was one thing that, we probably would do different if we could do it all over, would be to try to focus our attention more on maybe 1 or 2 products as opposed to 3 or 4. We've met our goal of having began the process to have 4 products launched in that baby niche by April of 2018, which would be our 1 year of having started the program. And so we're real excited that we were able to check that off. But at the same time, again, that cash flow piece is something that we probably should have paid closer attention to.
Yeah, you're right. And a lot of people don't think of that because, if you're going to launch 3 or 4 products right out of the gate, then you really need to analyze your financial situation, because tying up money in one or two products is obviously going to be less money. And the time it takes, like you are really fast. And a lot of the students are fast, but a lot of the students procrastinate and they can't get out of their own way because they don't have the drive, right? So not the students in the inner circle, they're different in a sense that they're more motivated, they're more willing to help each other. The mastermind students. So I always love to ask this, Charles. So I always ask both things. What's your favorite part about being in the inner circle? And what's something that is we can improve on or is not as good as it should be?
I would say for the good, really just having that accessibility to the mentors in the group, Mike Carrington. It's been super helpful to have someone to help walk you across some of those bridges, when it comes to sourcing products, when it comes to knowing how much to buy and, how long it's going to last, when it comes to questions about even some of the tools that we use, like Jungle Scout, for example. It's nice to have someone in the inner circle that can really help to hone in on some of the answers that you're looking for when maybe you don't have that in other groups. So the weekly meetings, I think, are super helpful, even 5 months in. To the negative, wow, that's a really tough question. That's a really tough question.
Well, that's good to hear. Right?
He can take it.
Yeah. Yeah. If it takes you that long to think of a negative, then that's good. That makes me feel good.
I think, again, because of our motivation and wanting to succeed in this business and in this group, I've also listened to, a lot of other podcasts and things related to Amazon FBA. And so where I feel like I might not have knowledge in one area or another, whether it's, sponsored ads or PPC or sourcing, I really think you all do a great job at not only giving us the basics, but it seems if you watch some of the videos that we, were given back when we started in April of last year, and you watch the content of the videos that we currently, or that the group currently produces, there's a difference. There's a difference. You all like to really keep us up to date on the things, the trends, the things that are happening, the rules that are changing within Amazon's platform. And so I think that's super helpful. I think just staying current, staying up to date. And I think that it's really helpful that you guys are actually still in the business of Amazon product sourcing, setting up listings. I think some of the other people outside of the group that give advice on Amazon and FBA, I tend to think that they're not actually in the business of what we're doing to source products on Amazon's platform. I think they're probably more in the business of the educational side. And so sometimes there's a disconnect in what they're teaching because they're maybe not actually doing the business as well. So I think that's super helpful that you guys are actually still doing it. I think that will go a long way with some of the new folks that join the group in the months and years to come.
That's a good point.
Yeah, those are very kind words. We work really hard to put everything we have into this course. And it's nice to hear that you were able to take these tools, take the trainings, take the support, and start your business with such a bang. That's really inspirational to people that are listening that might have fear, they might have doubt. Because I'm sure you were the same way. I'm sure you didn't just hear one of my podcasts and say, I want in, right? You had to be skeptical.
Absolutely. I think that's part of anything that you get into, whether it's a relationship, a new business, really whatever it is, you're always going to be a little reserved about what's next. And so I think we as humans, that's our natural tendency, is where we're at and what's next. And so I really think that you all do a good job at kind of giving us those steps, but also reminding us along the way that, hey, this is step one. Don't go to step two until step one is done, and on and on. So, yeah, I think that's super helpful.
Yeah. And so far to date, what are your goals? Because you're only less than 5 months in, and you did mention you had a certain goal in mind. And do you mind sharing that?
Sure. So, yeah, we've met. One of the things when we were brought on, one of the mentors that brought us onto the end of the group, rather, had us write down where we want to be. And myself, I had some goals, and my wife, she had some goals. Most of them were pretty similar or overlapped, but it's nice to look back to April of 2017 and think about where we wanted to be and where we're currently at. So one of the goals being that we wanted to launch 4 products within our first year of training. So we're certainly on pace to do that. Actually, it will be 5. And if I can't slow myself down enough, it may be 6 or 7. but yeah, one of our financial goals, big picture, is we are on pace to do, I was just looking at it last week, but somewhere between 650 to 750,000 in our first 12 months from launch, which was August of 17. Love to hit that $1 million mark in 2018. That would be really cool.
Yeah, that is, because you have really good goals, and I could see you hitting that, because doing 200,000 in the first 5 months, that's the hardest part. Now scaling up from there, the sky's the limit.
Yes, absolutely.
So Charles, you mentioned your wife doing an at-home daycare. How do you fit that in with Amazon, or the other way around?
That's a really good question. I think as we got into this, and as probably many people do, they think about, replacing their income. Some people want to supplement, some people want to replace. I'd say we're probably somewhere in the middle. At least right now, every dollar that we make or bring in the business gets turned right back into the business and additional products. So, and we look to do that for, I would say, at least the next year or two. No matter where you're at least the first 6 months, you want to make sure that you're fully invested, and anything that you're making, you want to be sure and turn that back into new products or expanding markets. So, and I think that's really wise. How that works for her and the in-home daycare, it's just, I think at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. I would love nothing more than for her to be able to do Amazon full time. I currently work a 40, 50 hour a week, 9 to 5 job as well.
What do you do?
I would love to. I do pharmacy, so specialty pharmacy contracting for underinsured or uninsured individuals. I love my job, but I would love to, sit behind a computer and work on Amazon 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day, 10 hours a day, if that ever became a possibility.
And right now, how much time are you spending on your Amazon business?
I would say during the week, I'd probably spend about an hour, maybe 2 a day. On the weekends, just because I like dabbling in Seller Central and the Amazon dashboard, I might spend 2 or 3 hours a day on the weekends.
If somebody's listening and they're just wondering why they should apply to be part of the inner circle, what would you tell them?
It's a dedicated group of individuals who really cares about your success. And if you pay attention and really, you take good notes, you attend the weeklies, there's a lot to be gained from this business. And really, it doesn't matter if you want to make an extra $500 a month or if you want to make an extra $5,000 a month. Really, the sky's the limit on how fast you want to move, how much you want to grow. As you know, Amazon's a behemoth of e-commerce opportunities. So it's just the beginning right now. Amazon's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. I don't know that anyone's ever going to catch them, although I'm sure others will try. So yeah, I look at it as an opportunity. I know Amazon, I think 10 years from now, 20 years from now, we're probably going to look back and say, wow, how many millionaires did Amazon produce over the last 10 years? And I want to be one of those. And I think certainly there's room for others.
They say 90% of all sales are still facilitated offline. So only 10% of all sales are actually online. So it's only going to grow. It can't go the other way. It's only going to go to more and more online sales at all times.
Absolutely. I mean, you see it every day now. You see, downtown. I'm in a smaller, Midwest town of 100,000 people. But I know we're currently seeing it here. A lot of the brick and mortars are falling to the wayside. So much commerce is happening online, and it's just the beginning. I certainly want to give my best shot at getting a piece of the pie.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
And you're definitely doing it. I mean, you're off to a phenomenal start.
Thank you.
So, Charles, based on the success that you had so quickly, I mean, less than 5 months, it's been an amazing ride. What advice would you give to someone else?
Whether you make a small investment or large investment, I think just make an investment. Make an investment in your future. Make an investment in your business. I've dreamed for years about going into business for myself as an entrepreneur. And so this was definitely the best opportunity, the best vehicle to get me to where I am today. And like we talked about earlier, I think really the sky's the limit on how far you can go as long as you're dedicated and you persevere and push through some of the barriers that you'll come up against. There's certainly good things on the other side.
So Charles, you're definitely an inspiration to everyone listening, and me and Mike, we both definitely are inspired by you, and we're really thankful that you came on the show, and I think we'll check back with you.
Make sure you reach out after you hit those goals, because people listening, you inspire them, because knowing that somebody that's never done this before is taking on something brand new and is off to such a bang, it's going to be exciting to see where you end up. And you'll never end, but to see as you grow. So thanks a lot, Charles. It was amazing having you.
It was my pleasure. I'd love to be able to join up again 6 months, 12 months from now. Be more than happy to, again, share where we're at and what we've been able to accomplish with such great team as Amazon Secrets and all of the friends and really what I would call family in the Inner Circle group. I really appreciate it. It's already been a life changer for my wife and I and family as well.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Charles. Have a good one.
Thank you.